everyone, and how are you today? Today's live is getting a bit personal, a bit about me and my growth, but also it will help you grow. And I know that some of you listening today are meant to listen because there is so much going on at the moment. You know, there's a super full moon, things are heightened with full moons, things are amplified, and if there's things occurring globally, it's going to feel more intense. And Dean and I certainly are feeling it in our own world. So, I want to share with you. You don't have to do whatever you are being told to do. Now, I think people are now realising that in this world, we are conditioned, we're groomed, we're social conditioned into ways that that we are told are appropriate, our reality. You know, gone with the days where, you know, you'd sit at the table, elbows off the table, eat with your mouth closed, don't talk with your mouth full. I always get that one confused. Well, that's sort of fair enough because you don't want to choke. But those sort of things used to be the way that, a part of us growing up. And one of the things I remember growing up, I am the eldest of 6 children, 4 to my mum and dad, and my dad ended up having 2 more beautiful children. That makes the 6, right? And growing up in Sydney and then in Melbourne, I was born in England, came over when I was about 2. I looked up to my family and what was going on around me. And I used to aspire to want to have a family. I just want to have a really beautiful husband. I want to go to work. I want to earn lots of money. And my kids are talking about it now, saying money gives opportunity, and I want to earn heaps of money, and I want to be a hairdresser. I want to be a hairdresser. I want to be a nurse. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a vet. And all of this comes to I want to service and receive. Service and receive. But as I've grown up, and you may be able to relate, I sort of realised that conforming like that didn't resonate with me. I used to not be able to watch horror movies or thriller movies because I was in it so much that I'd feel all the emotions, and I worked out at an earlier age that I suffered from anxiety because I felt so much, and then I'd have those depressive states. Hence, growing up and realising that self-realisation that was part of being an empath, part of being an intuitive, that you feel the world. So even right now, feeling the world is really intense. I learned protective skills to help me, but I still feel it. People would say that at empaths it's a gift and a burden. I like to look at it as a pure gift, and it's an ever-growing journey. Hence why I chose in the service path healing, because I would show others the way. So the pattern here is service, right? So a lot is going on at the moment, and what I'm finding is as I'm growing up, because I'm still growing up, still getting older, that I'm finding my way. And my way is my way. And I want to get you guys to start reflecting your life and working out your way. You hear so often they're not, I can't do this. I don't like doing this. I have to do this. I have no choice. I never win. I never can do this. I can never. And what if, and these things are so sabotaging, but these are learned conditions from when we have been in utero, we have learned in past generations. This is the lingo that is used. This gives us an imprint to be able to put us in conformity, which stops personal growth. So a lot of our lives is working out where we fit in, the breakdown of conformity, and understanding that now in this day and age that we come to the realisation that those stories are going to hinder and put you in a standstill in your life and probably give you a lot more challenges than starting to break away from those conformity mindsets and limitations that we've all been taught. So those that have had an alcoholic, abusive family, partner, dad, mum, grandmother that has been a victim of an abuse situation, they will find it really challenging, but it also doesn't define them as a person. Because I tell you, every single person, you speak to them, they'll have their own trauma, their own challenges, and it's how they break through it to rise above it. So here we are, another full moon, stuff is going up. If you're in Queensland, we're on a 3-day mandatory mask, 3 days, wow. And that's going to bring up feelings, and it's the same. I heard from my ex, he was out on the beach and someone said to him, hey, you haven't got a mask on, mate. And he goes, look, it doesn't kick in till 5 p.m. and I'm out in the open. And do you know what, mandatory, I won't go, I shouldn't get off track, doesn't mean that you have to. There's lots of things that, out in the public. Regardless, we shall not judge. Everyone has their own journeys, right? One of the things I want to touch on is conditions. So, jumping forward, last year was one of the most challenging years for Dean and I, emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally. And I'll tell you why. Because things started shutting down, things started coming up emotionally about us wanting us to live our best lives, right? We do that on social media because that's what we portray we are doing. And doing that on social media too means that we become accountable for our actions. So it's like a pull back in. Hang on a minute, I'm getting absorbed in all this bullshit. I need to reset, reevaluate, self-order and get back on that beautiful path of flow that Dean and I desire. Hence why we met at that beautiful time with the last company that we were involved in. But we still need to check in because we're still ever growing, as we all are. So, what I wanted to share with you is, so last year, we realised that we conformed more than we wanted to. We thought because we wanted to express ourselves, we wanted to show others the way, that network marketing was the way for us to shine. And it is. But not all vehicles are going to be the right vehicle to suit you. So you need to find the right vehicle, yeah? Okay, so I've got lucky that I've got Dean in my vehicle with me to be able to share that journey. So in reflection, looking back, I realised that there are a lot of conditions to our success, to our validation, to our acknowledgement. We had friends that were conditional. And it was only until we departed from that company that we realised how conforming we were. Because the result is the consequence of that in departing is that it not only broke away a business that Dean and I built and myself in a company for 5 years, thinking that I was part of a community, that I had some beautiful friends that I invited to my wedding, including management, to suddenly saying and expressing from our heart that it wasn't aligning with us, that we felt that our hearts weren't lit anymore, to going into such a realization that things are conditional with so many people. And I suppose I'm sharing this with you is because I'm an empath, I'm an intuitive, and the transparency that I want to share comes from my authentic heart. And then those that are in my life and I love and I say that I love and that are friends, that is authentic and genuine, regardless of your occupation, your anything. It doesn't matter. If you have a connection with someone, you have a connection. So realising that our past company that we were involved in, and you probably know it, had a lot of conditions. If you achieved things, you'd get noticed, you'd get recognition, which is fine. But if you didn't, there's no one pulling you along the way. And that authentic love that was shared isn't authentic. So we're going through a lot of transitions at the moment. But on the flip side, being a part of something now, like the company that we're involved with, it's really awakening us to show us who we really are, and realizing that we can just be ourselves and be loved on. It doesn't matter what we do in the business, whether we're growing or not. It doesn't matter where we come from or our intentions are. But we just get this overwhelming feeling of belonging, feeling of coming home. And that conformity that I've been trying to detach from most of my life. And as I said, I break away, then I get into a pattern and I go, oh dear, I'm starting to feel my physical body going down, I'm starting to feel stress, I'm starting to not feel that I'm pushing uphill, that I'm not getting where I want to, and then I realise I'm in it again and I need to break away and really get back on that path that's going to ignite me the most. So right now I'm ignited the most because I'm around genuine, creative, loving people, and I want to, if you go back to the start of my life, I've grown up in a large family. My parents are entrepreneurs. My mother thinks outside the box, and my dad is a fantastic, passionate, driven man. So I've been blessed to have both sides of the intuition, spirituality. I love my crystals and healing side, but also that business side. And finding a fit in a business that can provide me the skill sets and the way of life that we desire is so good, because we're of service and they're of service to us. And it means I'm finding those conditions are starting to break away. So when you think about yourself, and there's a fine line between intuition and conditioned intuition. I love that. You know why? Because are you putting conditions on yourself to define your growth? Now, this is my final point. So what do I mean by that? So just say I offer you an amazing opportunity because you've come to me and you said, I don't like my work. I don't have enough money to go on that holiday. I cannot afford to go out to dinner because of blah, blah, blah. If I do this, I can't do that. What if this happens and this doesn't happen? Now, I want to stop that, because that is predicting a future path that you cannot predict, because you have no control of. You have no control of your future, but you have control of setting yourself up for your future, setting yourself up for those goals that you want by being present. All your past has brought you to this moment. You hear it, it's plugged in, it's blasted out everywhere. Don't forget your past, because you recognise it, you reflect it, you don't want to live in it, but it's brought you to the lessons that you are right now, which are going to trigger you where you need to go. So if you find you're repeating the same negative stories of I can't, and you sincerely, without conditions, want to change your life, that you are ready to live a life like you desire, like I'm telling you, I get still comments when we're at the beach, Dean and I, or we're doing this certain thing in our lives. Oh, geez, you guys have so much time. Oh, wow, you're living your best life. And it's almost like, oh, stuff you. You get to live your best life. Why can't I? Because you can. And I can show you how, in a way that is authentic to you. Because we have a choice. You're not in work jail. And that's what I love, work jail. Because you feel you're defined by what the world has thrown at you. So why don't we shift it? Why don't you start taking control of your present? If you want extra money, if you want a different career path, But if you don't even know what you want, but you know what you want, like you know those monetary things, because we know that if we have more money in our pockets, we have more options to live the life that we desire, whether it's that organic food, whether it's paying that extra money so we can fly when the borders and world opens, whether it's living in an area that enlightens you. So those conditions that you're putting on yourself. I will join this if this happens. I will do this. I know, this validation. Thanks, Tammy. Thank you. I know that and this is hypothetical, I know if Sam loves me, if she will ring me every day, then I feel the love. If she doesn't do that, she doesn't really care about me. So have you heard about, does this resonate with you? Those sort of thought patterns that you put? I put conditions on friendships, not me personally, but people do. If you do this, and it all might be in your head, you might not be sharing it. If I do this, I share, I know that they like me. If this business opportunity shows me this, I know I'll be successful. If this does this, I will be okay. So try and break down the conditions. And when we talk about love, unconditional love, it's without conditions. And it can be as simply as, where am I now? Where do I want to go? And what am I going to do about it? Because if you want better, you need to do better. You need to do more, you need to change. So how can things change in your life if you're not willing to change? And sometimes the grass is greener if you decide to walk towards it. So my whole point of all this is, if you're in a rut, if you're in a situation that you're not happy, whether it's relationship, work, where you live, and that living right now, you might be restricted in moving, so we can work on that. But whether it is you don't like the food you eat, you don't like your physical body, you don't like something, are you putting conditions on it, stopping yourself growing because of fear, because you need to be validated by the external world before you can grow? If you are, please join me in letting me help you get past those blocks. Because I'm telling you, and you guys, you must notice that not only my life meeting Dean has changed, because I worked on self for a period of time, and I wanted to have a complete relationship, being single for 7 years, saying, yeah, I can do everything on my own. I don't need anyone. 2, opening my heart, being in this new business opportunity. You know me, I love to service, I love people. Let me love you and show you the way, okay? So if this is all too much, that is okay. If you want more information about what am I talking about, just message and say hi. I am not trying to push anyone into anything they don't want to do, unless you give me permission to show you the way. So thank you for watching. That was a bit intense. Oh my goodness, I had so many things going on in my head, but I wanted people to break down and break through conditions and change the mental mindset to know that you're not in world living jail. That whatever the external world is showing, you have got a silver lining, and it's all in here and it's all in your heart. If you know how to look for it, I love you too, Sarah. Hey, Rach, thanks for jumping on. You can change if you desire to change, but the first step is you. And I'm here, and Dean's here to help show you the way for those that are ready. All right, take care. Love you all.